everyone. In this video, I will talking about how to addressing the second question. What is the page view distribution like? Is that skew left, skew right, or symmetric? Okay, so obviously for this question, as you look at the data set, we mainly focus on the column E, right? So only look at column E. As we learn in the class, in order to understand the right visualization, we have to be able to identify the type of data we're dealing with. So the column E is called the page viewed. So as you can see the potential values, so the page view is not like a browser, which is a category data. So the page view, it is a quantitative data. So therefore, based on what we learned in the class, so we are able to use frequency distribution, relative frequency, percent frequency, cumulative frequency distribution, and also the histogram to summarizing our page view. So therefore, to answer this question, number 2, the visualization we will create can be, like I said, frequency distribution, relative frequency. However, at the end, they did ask whether they are skew left, right, and symmetric. So in order to answer this question, you definitely have to creating a histogram. Okay, so in this video, we will focus on how can we creating the frequency distribution, relative frequency, frequency distribution, percent frequency, cumulative frequency, cumulative percent frequency distribution for our quantitative data. And then the next video I will show you is how can we creating histogram. Okay, let me go back. So the method we're using is still using the pivot table method, similar as we did before for the browser. We will select everything in my data set, make sure you're including your first row, which is our labels. So after you do that, and you will click insert, pivot table, and then I will using a new page, and then you can click OK. Okay, so this time we are working on the page viewed. And so what I will do is I will still selecting, I will select the page viewed, as you can see, and the left click it and hold it and drag it down to rows. Okay, and after that, I will click the page viewed and drag it down to values. Okay, and then before we move on, first of all, as we know, our data only have 50 customers, but as you can see here, the grand total is 241. If you're reading the column value here, they said it's the sum of the page viewed. So what happened here is instead of counting how many customer are viewed 2 pages and how many customer view 3 pages, so we are actually adding total viewed pages together. So basically it is not what we're looking for. So therefore you need to be very careful when you are creating frequency distribution for quantitative data. You need to change this sum to count. So we are count of page viewed. Okay, so under the value of sum of page viewed, we are right click the mouse. Okay, then you will see the option. So you can see currently we're using sum under summarize value by. We need to change to count. Okay, it's always a good idea to always double check. So the grand total here has to equal to your sample size. Okay, we only have 50 customers, so here has to equal to 50. Now, is this the frequency distribution we're looking at it? So maybe not. So there's one thing we need to do when we deal with a continuous quantitative data for the frequency distribution is we want to grouping them a little bit. So for instance, instead of 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, I actually want to reduce the amount of the groups. So maybe 2 reduced to 3 groups or 4 groups. So that's what we can do. So we can see better patterns. So how can we grouping our possible value for potential value for the quantitative data? So what we can do is under the row label here, we choose the value, right click the mouse, okay, we call group. So let's see, the smallest value is 2, largest value is 10. So let me group it by 3. So basically 2 for the page 2, 3, and 4 we'll group together. 5, 6, 7 we'll group that together. 8, 9, 10 we'll group together. Okay, so by 3 I will click OK. So now you can see 2 to 4, 5 to 7, 8 to 10. So the reason we are doing this way is that it just allows me to see the pattern better, right? So as you can see, majority of the customer only view 2 to 4 pages, right? 2 to 4 pages. So that's what I want to grouping them together. So this is called a frequency distribution for quantitative data. Okay, so the difference between this and the browser example is that for the quantitative data, you need to make sure, first of all, adjusting sum to count. Second is you need to kind of do a little bit of grouping so that your value is not widely spread out. So you want to group the row label a little bit. Okay, so now the next I want to show you is after we get this frequency distribution, how can we convert it to percent frequency distribution, cumulative frequency distribution, and a cumulative percent frequency distribution. Okay, so first of all, under the count page view, if we want to convert it to percentage, the one way we can do is we choose one of value, right click the mouse, and then show value as, what we're going to do is called a percent of grand total. Okay, so after we do that, you will notice that all the value are converted to percentage. So this is called a percent frequency distribution. So basically 50% of the user are view 2 to 4 pages, and 42% shopper view 5 to 7 pages. So that is called a percent frequency distribution. And also we can convert the percent frequency distribution to cumulative percent frequency distribution, right? So for instance, you want to see how many viewer view at least 4 pages, at least 7 pages, at least 10 pages. Less than 4 pages, less than 7 pages, less than 10 pages. So the way we will do it is right click the mouse. We are still going to show value as. So first of all, we can convert it to. So what we will do is first we want to do the cumulative frequency distribution. So we will right click the mouse, show value as round total, and then just use pages viewed and click OK. So basically, as you can see, the 25 here is still be for the customer view at least no more than 4 pages. And then the next one is 46. So for the 46, this is actually including everybody until 7 pages. So we will have 46 people, customer among this 50 customer view no more than 7 pages. And then we will have all of them are view at least no more than 10 pages. So this distribution, as you can see, the grand total here is empty because it's a cumulative, adding the frequency together. So therefore, the last category here is 50. So if you, of course, you should change the label a little bit. So actually, this should be smaller and equal to 4 pages. And this is a smaller and equal to 7 pages. And this is smaller and equal to 10 pages. So the label here, it need to be updated. So this is the right label for the number we're seeing here, okay? So now we also can convert the cumulative frequency distribution to the percent cumulative frequency distribution. What we need to do is choose one of the value and then right click the mouse, and we will change to show value as percent rounding total. So this will give us cumulative percent frequency for the browser viewed it. Okay, so like I said, in this video we learn for the quantitative variable, how can we creating frequency distribution, percent frequency distribution, how can we creating cumulative frequency distribution, and how can we creating cumulative percent frequency distribution. So in our next video, we are able to creating histogram. So by creating histogram, we are able to answer the question, what is the page view distribution like? Okay, talking about skewness, right, or symmetric.